If you are waiting to be perfect before you start becoming the woman you dream about, you might end up waiting for the rest of your life. Perfection is one of the most convincing lies we tell ourselves. It sounds responsible. It sounds disciplined. It even feels mature. But most times, perfection is just fear wearing a very polished outfit. It gives us a comfortable excuse to delay action, and it convinces us we are being careful. This month is Women's Month, and I've been reflecting on something many of us do, but rarely admit out loud. There is the woman we say we want to become, and then there is the woman we allow ourselves to be every single day. The gap between those two versions, that's where most of our frustration lives. For me, this month is about one simple idea: becoming her. Not the curated version. Not the aesthetic version that looks perfect online. Not the version that only exists on vision boards or in Instagram captions. I mean the real version of her. The version that grows slowly. The version that makes mistakes. The version that sometimes feels unsure, but keeps moving anyway. Because here's the truth: becoming her is rarely glamorous. It is not always exciting, and it certainly does not happen overnight. I used to believe that if I could just get everything right, everything else would fall into place. So I kept restarting my life every Monday. Every Monday felt like a fresh opportunity, a chance to finally become the disciplined, focused, and productive woman I imagined. I would create new goals, new routines, new promises to myself. Monday mornings felt powerful. I woke up early. I planned my day. I wrote down my goals. I felt like I was finally stepping into the life I wanted. But by Wednesday, the energy would start fading. By Thursday, I felt exhausted. By Friday, guilt would quietly creep in. It reminded me of everything I had already failed to do. Then Sunday would arrive, and I would convince myself the week was already ruined. So I would quit and promise to try again next Monday. This cycle went on longer than I like to admit. And the hardest part was not the failure itself. The hardest part was the story I kept telling myself whenever I slipped. If I cannot do it perfectly, maybe I should not do it at all. That sentence sounded responsible at the time. It sounded like I had high standards. But in reality, it was just a way of hiding. I thought becoming the woman I admired meant never failing, never doubting, never slipping. That woman, she did not exist. Real growth does not look like a perfect transformation. Most of the time, it is quiet, repetitive, deeply personal. Growth often happens in moments nobody sees, in decisions that feel very small at the time. There are days when you start something with so much excitement. You feel confident, focused, determined. A few days later, you feel small again. Motivation fades. Distractions creep in. And suddenly, the vision that felt so clear feels distant. That feeling is incredibly common. But many people misinterpret it. They assume the problem is inconsistency. They assume something must be wrong with them. Sometimes, the real problem is comfort. Many of us protect a version of ourselves that feels safe, not completely broken, but not fully growing either. A version that is almost disciplined, almost confident, almost healed. The word almost becomes a comfortable place to live, because it protects our ego. As long as we are almost there, we can keep talking about who we will become, without fully facing the responsibility of becoming that person. But something changes the moment you truly begin becoming her. Excuses start losing their power. Procrastination becomes harder to justify. You begin to notice the small habits that keep you stuck, and you can no longer pretend you do not see them. I remember a morning not long ago. I woke up feeling very determined. I had planned everything. I woke up early. I prayed. I spent time reflecting. I wrote down the goals I wanted to focus on that day. I felt proud of myself, aligned, ready. Then, by mid-morning, I picked up my phone. Just a short break, I told myself. Before I realized it, I was scrolling through social media, comparing my life to other people's progress, feeling like I was falling behind. That moment felt familiar. It was that quiet disappointment we feel when we realize we are drifting away from the person we promised ourselves we would become. And that moment is more powerful than we think, because it is where a choice appears. You can decide the day is already ruined and give up completely, or you can choose to begin again. Becoming her is not about never falling off track. It is about choosing to return every single time you do. It is choosing discipline after distraction. It is choosing courage after doubt. It is choosing honesty when excuses feel easier. Real transformation is rarely dramatic. It is usually built through small decisions, repeated over and over again. One habit at a time. One principle at a time. One honest decision at a time. Many people think they need motivation to change their lives. But motivation is unreliable. Some days it is strong. Other days it disappears completely. What truly shapes our lives are the standards we set for ourselves. When your standards rise, your actions begin to align with the life you say you want. So here are a few questions worth asking yourself. Honestly, what truth about your life have you been pretending not to see? What habit quietly keeps you small? Who might you become if you stop negotiating with your excuses? These questions are uncomfortable, but they are also powerful. Growth begins the moment we become honest with ourselves. There is another truth many people avoid admitting. Some people do not actually want to become her. They only want to look like her. Looking like her focuses on appearance, on aesthetics, on how things seem from the outside. But becoming her requires something much deeper. It requires courage, consistency, humility, and vulnerability. Becoming her will stretch you, expose parts of you that still need healing, challenge habits that once felt normal, sometimes even embarrass you, as you realize how much you still have to learn. But that is where transformation lives. Perfection is performance. Becoming is practice. You practice showing up even when you feel uncertain. You practice discipline, even when motivation disappears. You practice growth, again and again, until the small actions begin to shape your identity. This Women's Month is not about performing growth for the world to see. It is about practicing growth, quietly, intentionally, and deeply. The woman you want to become. She is not waiting for you to be perfect. She is waiting for you to start. So start where you are. Start with the habits you already have. Start with the courage you already carry. And keep choosing growth, one day at a time. If this message resonated with you, share your commitment in the comments and write, "I'm becoming." Like this video, so another woman who needs this reminder can find it and subscribe. Next week, we will be unveiling another topic, another step in this journey. So stay tuned and keep showing up for yourself.